morning, everybody. I want to make a quick video about taking guns to protest. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about gun laws, particularly on the left. A lot of it has to do with people who haven't looked into it. They don't know. They're hearing stuff on TV. They're seeing politicians and even attorney generals saying incorrect information. Bringing guns to protest is dangerous. For obvious reasons, for reasons maybe not so obvious as well, but bringing a gun to a protest is generally a very bad idea. There are exceptions, but you need to be trained, you need to be well informed on the laws of self-defense. I suggest the Andrew Branca show, and he's got programs and everything else. You also need to have an attorney with a retainer if you're taking guns to protests that are highly likely, particularly if they're going to turn into riots. It's one thing if you're going to a No Kings protest with a bunch of 80-year-olds and nothing's going to happen but sign waving. Okay, maybe that's different. But if you're going to a protest that you know is involving people violating federal law, specifically people are going to commit criminal offenses, and interfering with law enforcement is a criminal offense. It is not protesting. It is not, you do not have the First Amendment right to interfere with law enforcement. So, if you are bringing a gun to a protest and there's going to be riots, you know there's going to be criminal activity, that is a bad place to have a gun. And it's bad for you. Guns don't always make you safer. They can, not always. Now you're at a protest and you have a gun. Now you decide to interject yourself into law enforcement activities. You decide you're going to interfere with law enforcement activities while armed. Bad idea. Committing crimes in possession of a gun generally results in more charges and longer sentences. It also is obviously very dangerous. Regardless of what you think about what happened yesterday, it's unlikely that those police are going to face judgment. And the guy's already dead. Alex is dead. He's not coming back. He doesn't get to reflect and adjust his position or make a better choice next time. It's over. Never again will he breathe fresh air. Because he made a lot of bad decisions. Bringing a gun to a riot was a bad idea. Interjecting yourself into law enforcement activities, interfering with law enforcement activities with a gun is a bad idea. Now you're in a situation where police have all the legal possibilities in the world to defend themselves because you're armed. And now, not only did you commit a felony with a gun by interfering with them, you've committed a crime with a gun, now you're fighting with them. Now you're committing more felonies. And now you've put them in a very dangerous position to where in a split-second decision, while a bunch of morons are screaming and blowing rape whistles, and in a fractions of a second, these officers have to make a decision about what to do with a guy with a gun who's fighting with them. After, and we're all seeing 10,000 people a day in America posting videos about how they're going to shoot ICE agents. You're putting these people in an impossible situation, and then you want to expect perfection. It's not how the world works. It's not how humans work. It's not how the law works. Judgment has a lot to do with this. And the police, I can't say that I would have done anything any differently in the circumstances. What a crazy, sketchy circumstance. But they don't have to wait for you to kill them to shoot you. If you are putting their lives in danger, and a reasonable person would believe that a guy with a gun fighting with the cops after committing multiple felonies is a danger. And so you've made yourself a danger. They have every right to be scared. They have every right to think you might have more guns on you. Not all gun carriers carry just one gun. And he's wrestling and fighting with them, and look what happened. And this could have been avoided multiple ways. He shouldn't have had the gun there. He shouldn't have had the gun. He shouldn't have interfered with the law enforcement. He shouldn't have fought with law enforcement after they tried detaining him. When your rights are being violated, that is not something that you get to argue about at the time of your arrest or detainment or search. That is not something that you get to fight the cops about. That's not how that works. You don't get to say, oh, you're violating my rights, so now I get to shoot. Maybe if they're doing something horrible. You see a cop like torturing a small child, maybe you have a legal case that you had to violently resist that. But that's an obvious crime. A police officer detaining you after you just committed a crime while you're armed is not some outrageous impossibility that you could all of a sudden have a right to fight back. That is not how laws work, and that is not how your rights work. Your rights will be asserted and adjudicated in court. You should let the cops arrest you, let them disarm you. If that's what they've decided to do, that's what's going to happen. It's either that or you're going to be dead. So you go to jail, you get a lawyer, and then you go to a jury or a judge, and you lay out the case of why they violated your rights and why they're wrong. And it'll be decided in court. But that's not something you get to decide in the middle of a melee and do so with violence. Most of you don't have any idea what the law says. You have no idea how it's applied. You have no idea what you're doing, and you're committing a lot of crimes. And so fighting back on the spot is not how you enforce or declare your rights. That's done in court. So stop bringing guns to protest as a general rule. Stop committing felonies with guns in your hand or guns on you. You want to go up to cops and commit crimes with a gun? Things are not going to end up well, regardless of whether you survive it or not. Fighting cops with guns in your possession are highly likely to lead to someone's fatality and or a long prison sentence, and it's probably not going to be the cops. So if you're going to take don't take a gun to a protest. That's not where guns belong, unless there are, people do, and there's circumstances where it's reasonable and the people know what they're doing and they're operating in a group and they have a lawyer on standby, they know the law, and they're using it legally. The people who, people want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse was legally carrying a firearm, and he acted in accordance with the law. It is not anything like what happened yesterday. There is no correlation there, none. You can't just say, it's a fruit, it's the same thing. It's not. It's not even remotely the same thing. If you go to a protest with a gun, you better be following the law, you better stay out of the melees, and you better not fight with the cops. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't fight with cops, did he? So, understand, the difference between someone who knows things and someone who's intelligent is an intelligent person knows what they don't know. Everybody knows stuff. Not everybody knows what they don't know. And that's the key. Most of you don't know the law. You don't know what you're doing. And it's a bad idea all around. So don't take guns to protest. Don't interfere with the police. Don't fight with the police, particularly with a gun on you, and your odds of living go way, 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 way up. I've had lots of interactions with the police. I've argued with them. I've been a jerk to them. Never shot me. Not once. So, be smarter. Everybody be safe. Everybody simmer down a little bit. Y'all gotta simmer down. Things are going to get fixed one way or another. But it's not going to be by you bringing guns and going, Wild West on the streets of Chicago or Minneapolis or LA. It's just not what's going to happen. So stop bringing guns. You don't want troops in the streets? Stop trying to shoot cops and kill them and fight with them with guns. You're pushing for tyranny. And it's messed up. Stop it. Get help.